Good day everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to be focusing on past JAMB questions under the topic variation. Our main focus will be on joint variation and partial variation. Alright, let's move to our examples. Alright, for the first one we have x varies directly as the product of u and v, and inversely as their sum. If x is equals to 3, when u is equals to 3 and v is equals to 1, what is the value of x if u is equals to 3 and v is equal to 3? Alright, now from the question we have that x varies directly as the product of u and v. So I have u times v, and inversely as their sum. That will be times 1 over their sum will be u plus v. So this will give me x is directly proportional to u times v times 1 will give me uv over u plus v. Now in this case, now we have to include a constant. That means we have x is equals to k uv, k times uv over u plus v. Now from the question we have that x is equal to 3. So x is 3, u is 3. So we have times 3, the v is 1 over u plus v will give me 3 plus 1 because u is 3, v is 1. So in this case now I'll have 3 is equals to k times 3 times 1 is 3 over 3 plus 1 is 4. So now in this case now I'll have 3 is equals to 3 times k is 3k over 4. I will have to cross multiply. So I have 3k is equals to 4 times 3. So 3k is equals to 12. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So k is equals to 12 divided by 3 will give me 4. So now in this case now the constant is 4. Now the question is now asking us what is the value of x if u is equals to 3 and v is equal to 3. So now in this case now our equation says that x is equals to k u v over u plus v. Now in this case now x has not, okay, what is the value of x? So we are going to find x. So in this case now we have discovered that k is equal to 4 times, then the u as 3 times 3 over u plus v. That means 3 plus 3 over 3 plus 3. So x is equals to 4 times 9 over 6. So x is equals to 2 goes into 6 3 times, goes in here 2 times. Now 3 goes into itself, 1 goes into 3 times. So we are left with 2 times 3. 2 times 3. So x is equals to 2 times 3, which will give us 6. For the second part, the weight W kg of a metal bar varies jointly as its length L meters and the square of its diameter D. If W is 140 when D is equals to 4 and L is equals to 54, find D in terms of W and L. So this is a question under joint variation. So we have W is equals to K L D square. It means W, the weight of the bar, is equals to the constant, so times the length and the square of its diameter. Normally I should have written this as W varies with K L D square. Alright, so in this case now we have been given W as 140. So 140 is equals to K times L is 54, then D is 4 raised to the power of 2. Alright, so in this case now I'll have 140 is equals to K times 54 times 16. So in this case now I have 140, so 54 times 16 will give me 864. So 864 times the K, 864K. So I'm going to divide both sides by 864. So 864, 864. So K is equals to 140 over 864. You can actually reduce this to its lowest term. If 2 goes in here, we have 70. If 2 goes in here, we have 4, 3, 2. If you actually use 2 again, 2 goes into 70, that is 35. 2 goes in here, 2 goes in here, 1 remainder 1. So we have 3, 5, 6. So in this case now, K is equals to 385 over 216. So we are going to substitute K into the original equation. The original equation, we are given W equals to K L D squared. But the question we're asked to find D in terms of W and L. So in this case now I will have W is equals to K L D squared. So we have been given K as 35 over 216 L D squared. So in this case now I will cross multiply. So this will give me 216 W is equals to 35 L D squared. So in this case now our focus should be on D. Alright, so we are going to divide both sides by 35L. 35L. So we can eliminate 35L and D square will be on its own. So I'll divide both sides by 35L. 35L. So this is all. So I will now be left with D square is equals to 216W over 35L. So now in this case now we are looking for D, not D square. So we are going to find the square root of both sides. So now in this case I'll have square root of D square, square root of 216W over 35L. So D is equals to square root of 216W over 35L. The reason why we are keeping our answer this way is because the instruction was for us to find D in terms of W and L. For example 2, R is partly constant and partly varies with E. When R is equals to 530 and E is 1600, and when R is equals to 730, E equals to 3600. We have to find the formula which connects R and E, and also find R when E is equals to 1300. This is a question under partial variation. Now, from the first sentence in the question, we have that R is equals to C plus K E, because R is partly constant, the C, and partly varies with E. That is why we have E here. Alright, so now in this case now we have two different sentences there. The first one gives us 530 for R. Now the C is there, constant, plus we have E as 1600, so 1600K. That will be our equation 1. The second sentence gave us R as 730, C was constant. Then we now had the value of E as 3600K times the K. So this has given us equation 2. Now in this case now, we are going to subtract equation 1 from equation 2. We are going to do that so that we can eliminate C and find the value of K. Alright, so in this case now, let's subtract 1 from 2. Alright, so in this case now, 730 minus 530 will give us 200. C minus C is 0, so it's off. So we now have 3,600 minus 1,600. That will give us 2,000. Don't forget K. Okay, so in this case now, we are going to divide both sides by 2,000 to find K. Alright, I'll divide both sides by 2,000. This is off. So K is equals to 0 cancel 0, 0 cancel 0. So I'm left with 2 over 20. So 2 goes into itself, 1 goes into 20, that's 10. So in this case now, we have derived K to be 1 over 10. So we are going to substitute K into the first equation. So substitute K equals to 1 over 10 into equation 1. So now equation 1 is 530 is equals to C plus 1,600K. So now in this case now, the K will turn to 1 over 10. So we have 530 is equals to C plus 1,600 times 1 over 10. So 10, 0 cancels 0. So I'll be left with 530 is equals to C plus 160. So now in this case now, I will collect like terms. So C is equals to 530 minus 160. So in this case now, C will be equal to 370. So C is equal to 370. Now it therefore means that R is equals to 370 plus 1 over 10 E. That is the formula we are being required, because the question says find the formula which connects R and E. So now this is the formula that connects what? R and E, because we have gotten the C, the constant, and we have gotten what? We have now derived K. So we have R is equal to 370 plus 1 over 10 E. Alright, the next part of the question says find R when E is equals to 1,300. Find R when E equals to 1,300. So from our formula, we have that R is equals to 370 plus 1 over 10 E. Now, in this case now, when E is equals to 1,300, so R is equals to 370 plus 1,300, which is for E, times 1 over 10. So you can say 0 cancels 0. So this will give us R is equals to 370 plus 130. So R in this case is 370 plus 130 will give us 500. So R is 500 when E is equals to 1,300. Alright, we have come to the end of our exciting lesson on variation. I hope you learned a lot. Please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel for more exciting mathematics videos. Thank you.